One of my recent Sewing Bee inspired makes has led to this question about piping. So this is flat piping, this is the regular corded piping. I will show you both. Both start with bias strips. They need to be accurately cut. I cut 4 centimeter wide strips for piping for both methods. For flat piping, this is just going to be pressed in half wrong sides together. So you've got this lovely strip with this nice solid fold. Now this is a piece of shop bought piping. I have a little bit in my stash in a couple of different fabrics. So that's a velvet and a cotton, but you can make your own. Super simple. So I'll show you how to do it. Piping cord, which is the cord that goes inside, comes in lots of different widths. Depending on how thick a piping you want to go on. You can see this very narrow cord produces a very thin one, and then I'm going to use this slightly thicker one today so it's a bit more obvious. So sewing corded piping, we're going to need a zip foot. It's going to enable us to get that much closer. So with that on the machine, I will then take the cord and encase it in our strip, and my raw edges are together. And then all I'm doing at the moment is basting, keeping it together so that look, it now looks just like the pieces of shop bought, and it's going to be handled in the same way. So to insert our piping, we're going to pop it on the right side of our fabric with the piping cord towards the inside and all our raw edges together. It's going to be encased between 2 pieces of fabric and then pinned well together. And then this is where I think this piping method is easier than the flat piping, because you have something to push against. So you've got some indication of where it is. You're going to push that zip foot hard up against it as you sew to get a really nice clean finish. Flat piping is inserted into the seam in the exact same way. The difference being you've got nothing to indicate outside of the sandwich where it is. So we've got to trust that those raw edges are perfectly together and that our strip has been accurately cut, because that is how we're going to get this a consistent width. The other thing that's going to affect it is stretching. Now, in order to go around corners, you have to stretch it somewhat, but you don't want to stretch it too much or it's going to change the width of the piping. Once I get to the machine, I'm using my regular foot and I'm just being really specific about making sure I keep that seam allowance. So here is the regular corded piping. It's got that nice little solid cord in there, and here is the flat piping. It looks really great and gives this lovely subtle extra finish.